Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter, Steven, David, and Shane. Say what up, boys.
What's going on?
Hello.
What's up, nerds?
We are back doing the Commander Grades video, this time taking a look at the legendary creatures from the brand new Precon, Food and Fellowship. We've got quite a bit of creatures to talk about. David was the one that did the upgrade for the Food and Fellowship deck. If you guys haven't checked that out already, check the description down below where the links to the $100 and $300 upgrade will be there. Check it out. But let's go ahead and dive into these brand new legendaries from that Precon set. This first one is Bilbo, Birthday Celebrant. It is a white, a black, and a green for a 2/3 legendary creature halfling rogue. It says if you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. Has another ability. We could pay 2, a white, a black, and a green. Tap it, exile Bilbo, Birthday Celebrant. Search your library for any number of creature cards. Put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only if you have 111 or more life. For the memes, right, Steven?
I mean, I love that you gravitated right towards me. But yes, this is for the memes.
Talk to me about it, David.
I think the build is actually pretty legit. I mean, Abzan is Abzan is honestly probably the color combination you want to be in if you're playing in a life gain deck, because then it gives you access to other things like Cruel Celebrant, Zulaport Cutthroat, Blood Artist. So like you have all the like drain style effects in it. Plus, like white and green give you access to all the Soul Sisters and stuff, which are all individual triggers of 1. I don't think that this is actually as memey as it looks. I think this is a creature that is going to gain you a ton of life. And if you do ever happen to hit 111 and use that ability, you've probably won the game based off of some kind of creature lock.
I think it'd be really cool to activate that ability, though.
It's a happy birthday.
Here's all of my creatures from my deck, and then a board wipe happens, and then you're super sad.
I don't think it's a board wipe happens. I think you're just going to build your deck in a way where you have a creature combo where you just win on the spot.
Yeah, it's like, when it enters, you drain, then you gain, and you drain.
It's like your opponents are never going to take another turn because you're just going to win the game.
That's true. I think you're going to win the game if you're at 111 life.
I don't think so. Having 111 life doesn't put you any closer to winning the game than having 1,000,000 life or just 1 life.
I think it puts you in the lead.
I don't view board states as life gain. I'm sorry.
No, if you had that life, I think your board state's looking pretty nice.
Hunter, we're going in circles.
I'm the combo player. You can have 1,000,000 life or 1 life. You're still just as close to dead in either circumstance.
God, I love it when mom and dad fight.
I know.
And dad's winning.
Happy birthday.
Which one of us is dad?
Both of you.
Yes.
Let's move on to the grades. Shane, you keep saying happy birthday. What are we giving it?
Happy birthday. It's a C.
Yeah, I'm going to join you. It's a C from me too.
David?
I'm going to give it a B just because the upside is there. It's so telegraphed, though. And I mean, I don't know. It's low enough to the ground where I think that if this thing dies, you're fine. So I'm going to give it a B.
I'm going to give it a B. Bilbo. B is for Bilbo birthday.
The average grade for Bilbo Birthday Celebrant is a B. Next up, we've got Farmer Cotton. This is X, a green and a white for a 1/1 legendary creature, halfling peasant. It says when it enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 white halfling creature tokens and X food tokens.
Cool. No. I think we're all going to be in agreement here. Yeah.
I think it's pretty solid.
What?
Yeah, dude. If you're running in a deck with green-white and you're going to make double the amount of tokens, right? You're going to have a really wide board. And just with any kind of Anthem effects that are on the board as well, it's going to be pretty nuts. This is a commander that has the ability to make however many 1/1s you can afford to pay.
Yep.
Food tokens are just icing on the cake, just gaining life.
Yeah. This card is not good. It's super mana intensive, really doesn't do much. And even in the case you do pop this thing for a ton, he's made an army of 1/1s that don't have haste and probably aren't very relevant.
And I'm going to board wipe and you're going to cry.
There you go.
X on top of that X.
No.
All right. He said no, Hunter.
All right. Well, let's move on to the grades then for Farmer Cotton. I'm actually going to give this a C.
I'm not. I'm gonna give it a D.
I'm gonna give it an F for farmer.
Oh,
I'm gonna give it a D.
for farmer.
You think he's wearing khakis?
Yes. Yeah.
What the fuck, guys?
We are farmers. Dude, I can't.
Sorry, I couldn't resist, dude.
The average grade for Farmer Cotton is going to be a D. Moving on to everyone's favorite pairing. We've got partners. First partner, Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit. It's a white and a black for a 1/3 legendary halfling scout. It's got partner with Sam, Loyal Attendant. It's got vigilance. And it says whenever Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit, attacks, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, the ring tempts you. Then, if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, draw a card. Also, Sam, Loyal Attendant. It is 1, a green and a white. It is a 2/4 legendary creature, halfling peasant. It has partnered with Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit. And it says at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a food token. Also, activated abilities of foods you control cost 1 less to activate. David, we talked about it in the beginning that you did the upgrade. These were your face commanders. What do we think of these?
All right, I'm gonna be completely honest here.
Here
I
we go.
love Frodo and Sam, but this is the ring tempts you commander because the ring tempting you is a really decent draft or limited mechanic, and they needed you to go buy those rares that care about that to put it into a deck, and this is the deck that that's targeted at. I actually don't think they're great creatures. I think they're really cool and they're interesting, and I love the fact that they're low to the ground. I just don't think the mechanic that they care about is all that impactful.
Fair enough. Because you got tempted by the ring 4 times, super quick.
Yeah, and like they do it really well. But my problem is like even if you've been tempted by the ring, the max of 4 times, it's not like your creatures are like really hitting hard.
I kind of see this as like almost as if this is a Voltron commander, which I know sounds really kind of funny because it's a partner duo. But I mean, Sam's just kind of there to make your foods cost less, and Frodo's there to kind of swing in for a shit ton of damage. I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't know.
And I do agree with you, but my problem here being is that Frodo being your Voltron commander has 1 power.
Sure,
You gotta throw somewhere, dude.
without artifacts and enchantments and all that fun stuff that you can definitely search for with these fun color combos.
Yeah, you can. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can absolutely build it that way. I think these are kind of slow and grindy, and they really want to work well and be really good at what they do, but I just feel like they're actually not very efficient.
Sam feeds his fighting friend. That's what's happening.
Well, I love the themes of it. I think that both of these cards are amazing as far as like trying to get the lore correct. I like this deck. I'm not trying to say that I don't. I'm just trying to say that like I feel like these two are a little bit more complicated than what they probably need to be, and I can't help but feel like they just needed somewhere for those rares and mythics that have the ring tempting you that they want people to buy to go.
Well, let's move on to the grades for these two. David, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it a C. The deck is still a lot of fun. The creatures are a lot of fun. They're a C. I'm gonna give them a C.
I agree with you. Frodo and Sam is getting a C from me.
I'm on the C train.
I'm actually going to give this a B. I think that they work very well together. Granted, you do have to cast both of them and have both of them on the field to kind of have some fun. But I feel like with what's come out so far in this set, primarily, and not even including the precon, I think that these two work really well with each other and a lot of the cards. So I think that they're actually pretty strong.
The average grade for Frodo and Sam is a C. Next up, moving on to Gollum, Obsessed Stalker. It is 1 and a black for a 1/1 legendary creature halfling horror. It has Skulk. And it says at the beginning of your end step, each opponent dealt combat damage this game by a creature named Gollum, Obsessed Stalker, loses life equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. I think this is pretty cool.
Care to explain why?
Because it's always going to trigger, right? At the beginning of your end step. Each opponent dealt combat in this game means we're going to be keeping track of this for the entire game. This has Skulk, so it's going to be able to go in because it has just a 1/1. Opponents are just going to lose life based on how much you gained. Always. I think it's
Isn't
pretty
black kind of hard to gain life though?
No.
It's one
Mono
of
black?
the colors. Black is actually pretty good at it. White obviously is better, but I would argue that of all of the color pie, black is probably the second best.
I love this card, man. I think that it can lean into a bunch of combos. Hunter, like you're saying, the Skulk is really good on this card because it comes down really early, and I don't think anyone's really looking at it. And as soon as they get hit by it, that's for the rest of the game. So I think at that point, you're just trying to build that combo piece to gain a shit ton of life, and you're in a color that is really good at finding whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a really good card. It's the best. It's cheap. It's cheap. Comes down early. That it's crazy to me. This is like the first card we've ever seen that you have
Tracks
to
entire game.
remember not just like commander damage, but you just have to keep track of has it been attacked? Have you been attacked by Gollum this turn?
No, this game.
This game, yeah. Sorry.
I get very light. I'm a caveat. Light vibes of like the toxic mechanic where you want to hit everyone really quickly and then kind of sit back and let everything else you're doing kill your opponents. What was that ability where it's like if they have 3 or more toxic counters, then you like does something? I don't know.
Corrupted.
Corrupted, thank you.
I think that what Shane just mentioned is actually an excellent comparison here because that's actually why I don't like this card. I'm not high on this card at all. This is a card that you want to attack everybody. And yeah, sure, it's got Skulk, but like they can still block it with a 0, I guess a 0/1 or a 1/1 for that matter, in which case this actually isn't getting in for combat damage. And then in the case that you do end up making that connection, like they have a very high priority to kill your commander at any point in time over the course of the game. And especially since this triggers at the beginning of your end step, like if you gained 50 life this turn, I'm going to kill Gollum before you go to your end step. So I think this is a card that reads way better than what it actually is. I think this is a massive hate generator that doesn't actually do much on its own.
Besides generate hate.
Well, let's move on to the grades. I'm actually very high on Gollum. I'm giving this a B.
I'm going to be right there with you, man. I think this is a pretty fun card, and it's interesting enough for me to say B.
I'm very polarized. I will agree with you that I think that this card is very fun, but I don't think this is powerful, and I think it's way too slow and fragile. I'm going to give this a D.
Well, I'm interested in this card, but I'm not that high. So I'm going to give it a C.
The average grade for Gollum is going to be a C. Next up is Gwaihir, Greatest of the Eagles. It is 4 and a white for a 5/5 legendary creature bird noble. Got flying. It says whenever it attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. And at the beginning of each end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white bird creature token with flying, and whenever this creature attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Birds go wide.
Bird tribal, baby.
Not even bird tribal because like your birds give other things flying
Flying.
as well. And it's at the beginning of each end step that you'll create that 3/3 so long as you meet the trigger for it. So like this could potentially be 4 birds, 12 power per turn cycle that's also making your other creatures flying.
Yes.
That's a lot of birds.
birds.
But if you're only doing
Flavor
that,
is
David,
on point.
if you're only doing that though, David, they already all have flying, so that second part of the ability doesn't really do anything.
No, all of your other creatures, all your creatures that are like, for example, gaining you life. Now those have flying.
True, man. Bring Gandalf and all of his friends flying.
Put them
Get
on
it?
the bird.
Get it?
Yes, we get it.
What do you think about this card, Steven?
I don't care for it.
I'll say it has a really cool ability, and I'm being talked into it. But 5 mana is scary because is it doing something the turn it comes down?
No.
I think it's probably making another 3/3 with flying the turn that it comes down. I mean, gaining 3 life in white is really not difficult.
And hopefully you gain 3 life the turn you play it, yeah.
True.
but it doesn't have haste, so it's going to stick around.
Well, let's move on to the grades. What are you giving it, Shane?
I think I'm just going to give this big bird a C.
Big Bird. Big Bird also gets a C from me, too.
Yeah, I'll give it a C.
This is a C.
There we go. Gwaihir, greatest of the Eagles, gets the average grade of a C. Next up, Lobelia, Defender of Bag End. It is 2 and a black. A 2/2 legendary creature, halfling citizen. Says when it enters the battlefield, look at the top card of each opponent's library and exile those cards face down. Has another ability we could tap it, sacrifice an artifact, choose one. Until end of turn, you may play a card exiled with Lobelia without paying its mana cost, or each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. David, what do you think?
No.
Why?
It doesn't do anything.
It steals cards.
No, it only steals cards whenever you have an artifact that you're willing to sack. Like, this is obviously meant to work with food, so that you have those food. But like, she doesn't make food. Food isn't really
treasure.
Well,
okay, I guess like you could do treasure or clues or like any of the other artifacts, or like maybe some of the artifacts that you want to die. Maybe you get like a solemn simulacrum. I'm still not high on this. Like, there's that degree of randomness. You might not actually get anything decent from your opponents. I don't really care about the second mode that she has if each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And also, you have to tap her to do this ability in the first place. Like, she's slow, she's fragile, she has a high whiff potential. I'm not here. I don't like this card.
Where are you?
I'm not here now.
She does exile on ETB, though, so that's good.
Yeah, she exiles the top card, which is, I don't know. I look at it like that's basically just like mill-ish. You milled 1 card.
It's worse than Bell.
Even loves mill, dude.
Not here.
Why don't you like it, Steven?
I mean, you're basically hoping to blink, bounce, do something with her. I mean, over and over again, and then sacrifice an artifact. I just think that it's just tough, man. I mean, I don't think the sacrificing the artifact part and tapping her is hard to do. And then being able to play a card without paying its mana cost. Obviously, we always say it. Free cards are amazing, but I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's not a very good card hunter.
I think it's not that great either. Yeah, you guys are right. I'm on board with you guys. Let's move on to the commander grades. Steven, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna give this card a C, just because. I mean, at the end of the day, the first one could be good? Question mark.
I'm giving this a D.
Yeah, Lobelia is gonna get a D from me too.
I will give her a D. I honestly want to give this card an F. I'm gonna give her a D.
Lobelia gets the average grade of a D. Moving on to some more partners. This is Merry and Pippin. First up, Merry, Warden of Isengard. It is 1, a green and a white for a 1/4 legendary creature, Halfling Advisor. It says partner with Pippin, Warden of Isengard. Also says whenever 1 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. This ability triggers only once each turn. The partner is Pippin, Warden of Isengard. It is a black and a green for a 2/2 legendary creature halfling advisor. It does say partner with Merry, Warden of Isengard. It has an ability we could pay 1, tap him, create a food token, and another ability we could tap, sacrifice 4 foods. Other creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So Merry has the only activate 1 each turn, and Pippin has only activate as a sorcery. We've got some valves on here, boys.
Yeah, those are our 2 favorite sentences in all of Magic.
Yeah. You can't break things. Great. Yeah, I'm not that big of a fan here. Are these cards good? Shane.
I think the answer you're looking for, Hunter, is probably not.
I think Mary sucks. I think Pippin's great.
Well, they come together, dude. They're a duo.
I mean, they don't have to come together.
I guess you're right.
I think Mary's okay. I think Pippin sucks.
Dude, you guys are so cute.
Pippin makes food, and then you can sacrifice food to give everything +3/+3 in haste. Is it good enough? It's very slow. You got to have other things that make food for it to really go off. And then you're tapping this down so he doesn't even get to attack. And then Mary only makes a single 1/1. Can only trigger once each turn, which is not good.
You know what's cool about this, Hunter?
What's that?
I feel like this is the Frodo and Sam at home. You know, when you want something cool, but you can't have it, you have it at home.
Yeah, it's worse. It's so much worse.
I mean, in this set, there is so much food production. It's not even funny, especially in these colors, obviously, because of this pre-con deck. I think that if we're looking at the pair here, I mean, sure, I guess, might as well have them together, but I think Pippin's coming out swinging, dude.
The token generator?
No.
No, Pippin.
Pippin, the one that you have to tap to do anything. I don't know how he's swinging.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
He's coming out and he's sitting there for a long time until you've telegraphed that you have 4 foods and for whatever reason you're not using them for anything else.
Let's move on to the grades. David, you sound really high on these two. What do you think?
They're an F.
Whoa.
I don't think these cards actually do anything on their own. Mary, I think, is okay-ish as support. Pippin is a card that I don't think you should ever play.
Wow.
I'm not going to go that low. I will go with a D, though. Mary and Pippin gets a D from me.
All right. Are we talking about these cards as a combo?
Yeah, because they partner together.
All right. These cards are Ds.
I'm on the D train.
The average grade for Mary and Pippin is going to be a D. Next up, we have the Gaffer. It is 2 and a white for a 2/3 legendary creature, halfling peasant. Says at the beginning of each end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, draw a card.
Some big fingers.
Hey, David, it says each end step, you could draw like 4 cards.
Yeah, this is actually my favorite card in the pre-constructed deck. And it has nothing to do with like any of the words on the card. It's just like, look at that artwork, dude. He just looks so happy to just be living his best life, growing carrots and potatoes or like whatever he's doing.
Especially potatoes.
Like, look at that subtle grin, dude. He's just like, yeah, I made this.
Card's not good. There's really nothing to talk about. I mean, you gain 3 life, you draw a card. You can do it multiple turns. I mean, it's boring.
Yeah, I think it's not that great either. You have to gain 3 life to draw a single card. I just don't think that's enough for a commander.
Yeah.
I think this is actually probably totally fine. Best case scenario, this is drawing you 4 cards per turn cycle.
That's what I said.
In mono white, you really can't get much better as far as card advantage goes. 3 mana, so it comes down early. I don't think your opponents are going to look at this card and be like, oh my goodness, I need to kill this right now. At the same time, I probably don't ever want this to be the legendary creature that's helming my deck, but I think this is a fantastic support card.
Well, we're not talking about support, baby.
We have talked about this
I
card
know.
for far too long.
Let's move on to the grades. David, you seem to be the one that's highest on this card. What are you giving it?
I'm going to give it a C. I still think that the upside there is pretty powerful.
I'm going straight to an F.
Wow.
Whoa. I'm going to give it a D.
I'm going to give it a D.
Draws you a card every time you make a food, dude. Or every time you crack a food.
Well, just the one time.
All right.
If you crack multiple foods on your turn, you still only get 1 card.
Yeah, but if I crack a food on my turn and your turn, I get 2 cards.
That is true.
The average grade for the Gaffer is going to be a D. And the final card from this precon is going to be Treebeard, Gracious Host. It is 2, a green, and a white for a 0/5 legendary creature Treefolk. It's got Trample and Ward 2, and it says when it enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. And whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on target halfling or Treefolk. So technically, you can make the counters go on himself.
No way.
Dude, but if you don't, you could block the little Gollum Stalker, dude. Just saying.
Well, here's what's interesting about this card. This comes down, makes 2 food. You crack those food, you gain 6 life. This gets 6 counters. So now it's a 6/11.
That's
With
pretty
Ward
good.
2 and Trample.
That's
which
really
is
good.
No joke.
That's really good.
This card's great.
No memeing.
This card's pretty nuts. Not gonna lie.
And a color combo, good for life gain. I mean, dude, this is pretty solid.
I mean, this could be your halfling commander.
Mm-hmm. Halfling and tree
Mm.
folk.
I
there
didn't want to
any-
even mention the second part.
Yeah. How many Treebeard are there?
A decent enough amount.
There's enough. What do we think of this card, David?
I think this is pretty solid. I mean, that's a lot of +1/+1 counters that you could put on your stuff. Plus, you could put it on this if you want to, make it kind of Voltron-y. You could spread the love, put it on the rest of your team. I guess it kind of locks you in where you're playing Halfling and Tree Folk Tribal, which I guess is still fine. I mean, if you're playing Tree Folk Tribal, you're probably playing the cards that have them attack with their toughness instead of their power. Which, if you're doing that, I mean, this thing has 11 toughness, assuming you've cracked those 2 foods. That could be a lot with Trample.
Hell yeah, they can, dude.
We got
Got good
green, white,
evasion.
green, white counters, baby. Yeah, but I think it's fantastic. Moving on to the grades. Steven, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna put this up there at a B.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, Treebeard does not have reach, so he can't reach that high up, but he's giving a B from me.
You tried so hard on that. I'm gonna give it a B too.
I'm going to give Treebeard a B. I think he's pretty solid.
Treebeard gets the average grade of a B. And that is going to do it for all of the brand new legendary creatures from the new Food and Fellowship Precon deck from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. If you guys like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Comment down below what was your opinion on our grades. Did you agree with them? Did you disagree with them? Let us know down there. Also, in the description, you will find links to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our TikTok. That is @GuysMagic for each one. Follow us on those to keep up to date with everything else that's going on. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Later.
Bye bye.
See ya.